All right, I had forgotten I had started. Good evening, everyone. I am the Mad Computer Scientist. This is the portion of the show where we make sure everything is working correctly, and we're going to do that in a couple minutes. So let's see if we actually do have sound, like I would really hope we do. Okay, it does sound like we do have sound. Good. The next thing we need to do is actually, I think I forgot to do some of my self-promotion, so we're going to continue that. I hope everything's going well tonight, and I think we're going to start with a joke that only nerdy people are going to get. Okay, looks like I did do that, but the joke is, have you heard about the physicist who used Linux to take all his lab notes? Yeah, he was a pseudoscientist. All right, now that you've recovered from that terrible pun, let us see if we have the equipment set up in the background correctly, and let's see if sharing the video works the way that I want it to. Give me a second here, and I'm on the wrong thing. There we go, that's better. All right, we also need to, all right, there we go. All right, you will see the other video there, but let's just full screen it. And let's see if we have sound. Give me a second. Sounds like we have sound. Okay. Now let us take care of the echo I'm hearing in my ears because that does not sound good to me. All right, that just means I need to mute it on this side. And let us begin our stream for tonight. Welcome to my channel. I am the Mad Computer Scientist. On this channel, I very much want to get back to discussing math, computer science, and technology topics that are of interest to me because I would like this channel to be more of an educational channel. I haven't really had time to do that lately, largely because of my job in being a grad student, but I will get back to it as soon as I can. There should be some stuff coming up on AI and a couple more math videos. Now, speaking of misunderstanding AI and math, I had a comment I would like to share with you guys, and give me just a few seconds while I find it here. Now, this was someone who commented on one of my videos, sorry, the only video I have done where I responded to something Angela Coiler did. Now, Dr. Coiler, as I prefer to call her, has a degree in physics, and it was just a bit of technology she didn't understand that she was commenting on, and I decided to take issue with it. Now, overall, the video ended up being a little meaner than I wanted it to be, and it doesn't matter how many times I've recommended people watch her channel and subscribe to her, it seems I still get some people finding it who just want to argue with me for disagreeing with her. Now, the problem is that I actually do know something about these topics, a lot more than most people, although I'm not going to tell you I'm over the peak of Mount Stupid on the Dunning-Kruger effect yet. I don't know that I am. But the problem is, knowing that you are is kind of the first step in moving off of it. So this is what he said. I don't want to show it, but it comes from someone who said, my best friend is in the forefront of AI research. He and his colleagues say AI doesn't exist. It's all machining that we use now. We're wrong. Now, to be fair, that's fine. A lot of people colloquially do confuse machine learning and use it as a term for general art. Sorry, I'm getting my terms confused as well. A lot of people just assume artificial intelligence and machine learning are the same thing. They are not. But what makes this statement wrong is this person does not understand how subsets work. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, where we are actually trying to get machines to learn using algorithms. Now, if he had stopped there, that would be fine. I sent him several links from MIT, Stanford, I think, was one, the Columbia School of Engineering, and of course, I used my own notes for my own artificial intelligence class, all of which pretty much said the same thing. Now, this commenter then came back saying I didn't understand what subsets were, and my links proved me wrong. I'm sorry, commenter, but you need to learn what subsets are because you didn't understand that the links proved you wrong. With that being said, let's talk about Ben Van Kerkwijk for a little bit. Ben Van Kerkwijk is someone I have covered before. He thinks the Egyptians had Turing-complete machines, specifically CNC technology, because he believes he has found a base that has precision that can only be used with modern manufacturing equipment. Other people have measured this base, have found out it's not really as precise as he's making it out to be, and it could have easily been made with existing Egyptian technology. So apparently he gave a presentation at the Cosmic Summit where he's talking about ancient technology connections. Now, I'm going to say that his claims are incredible. And by incredible, I mean I don't believe them, and neither should you. But before we get into the video, I'd like you to take a moment to like this video if you haven't done so, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and please share this content out if you find it useful. You know, I'm sure there's nothing my viewers love more than waiting for me to get to you to present something that's actually debunkable, because I don't care about your tours. Hey, I really shouldn't pick on you for your sound, but you've got quite a bit of echo in here. If you were to run this through a program like Audacity, you can kind of tone that down a little bit. It's still going to be bad quality, but it'll be a little more pleasant to listen to. So I'm going to turn the volume down, and hopefully that'll at least be easier on my ears. with precision that we would consider incredibly sloppy and made by a poor CNC manufacturer if these were CNC machine. But he hasn't made that claim yet, so let's see if he does. I would like to know what the evidence of circular saws is there, because it all looks like stuff that could be carved out with Bronze Age tools to me, and early Iron Age tools. Oh, Ben Van Kerkwick, could you please learn the difference between a robot and a CNC machine? I mean, both will be computer controlled, but they are not the same thing. All right, I can only ask questions here. I can't tell you're wrong, but I suspect your knowledge of ancient Egyptian archaeology is maybe a little bit more than mine, but not that much more. So how can we know that that's not the weather or some other form of erosion or just some sort of abrasion that took place over the thousands of years since this was made? Oh my gosh, does this continue to be this boring? And the funny thing is, this isn't perfectly symmetrical either. I think he's just asserting that it is without actually looking anything up. Yes, and people who study measurements actually took this apart and showed They absolutely could have been made with Egyptian tools because the precision you're claiming isn't there. I will try to put a link to that video below if I can find it. The funny thing is we have applied modern technology to them to determine that you are wrong, and you've just ignored that. So tell me, Ben Kirkwick, did you tell this guy you were going to misrepresent what he was telling to you before you interviewed him? Or did you just go ahead and interview him and misrepresent him later? I really don't think they'd have any problem with it. G-code would allow them to do something like this with the right machine. Okay, he just said they were indestructible as long as they don't break. Well, as long as I don't die, I'm immortal. That's how that works, right? Uh, Mr. Van Kirkwick, while it is indeed impressive precision for the Egyptian period, the figures I recall being said are not thousandths of an inch. It's usually close like a 16th of an inch or something like that. The largest number I heard was 3/8 of an inch. But those precision measures are still much less precision than the thousandths of an inch precision you could get with modern CNC machines. Oh my gosh, you can break a round object into circles? What an amazing discovery. Maybe you should share that one with Terrence Howard. Um, no. Because first of all, I don't know how you're defining circle here, but you can divide that into any number of circles. So I think whoever did that chose only those circles that would fit that ratio. Also, if you want it to remain three-dimensional, they wouldn't be circles. They would most likely be cylinders or toruses. Thank you for telling me what cat is. I didn't know. Oh my gosh, he can make the vase with mathematics. And nothing else, just doing the math. Yes, I could say that. I certainly have the capability, but the problem is I happen to know people who are familiar with this period, and people who study measurements have proven that your measurements are wrong. Also, I don't get why you keep saying indication of design. Of course it was designed, it was a vase. Vases typically are designed by the people who use them. Yes, because the Egyptians, who were a Bronze Age society and later Iron Age society, if I recall correctly, in the periods you are talking about, used rocks, sticks, and stones as their primary tools. You even mentioned copper. And for making claims that aren't true. And no one's saying the Egyptians didn't have sophisticated tools for their time. They absolutely did. But they didn't have modern technology. Oh, look, these structures are impressive, and ancient people must have been too stupid to build these things by themselves. So either they had help or they had modern technology. Perhaps you should consider the third alternative, which is they were perfectly capable of doing it with the technology and bureaucracy that they had in place. I think he meant exponential, not logarithmic. The exponential curve is the one that goes up quickly there, Ben. The logarithmic curve goes up slowly. Do you know there are many other places in the world where there's evidence of large blocks of large weight? Like Rome, Istanbul. Remember, it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Been a long time gone, Constantinople. Now it's Turkey. Okay, I don't need to quote, they might be giants. Many places in China, which I wish I knew more of the history about. Probably Greece has a lot. Stonehenge is another place where you'll find them. Are you going to say Stonehenge was precision manufactured next? Of course, for all I know, you probably do. But please, Ben, can we stop talking about rocks and get to your main claim? I really don't care about your critique of statuary. And you know what many people find fascinating? Details about where the materials to build these statues come from. I'm sure my audience isn't falling asleep right now. And I'm sure your audience there at the conference isn't begging you to get to the point. Oh, wait, we're 21 minutes into the video, and he's finally mentioning Egyptian tools. But he's still not getting to his claim. And you know what I don't see there at all, Ben Van Kerkwick? Any evidence of a computer or any other Turing complete device. How are you going to get there? Gee, I wonder why we're not seeing modern machines appearing on an ancient hieroglyph. I want you to consider this possibility, Ben, that hasn't crossed your mind, but it's going to revolutionize your thinking, even though it's probably going to end your podcast. And the possibility I want you to consider is they didn't have them. And now I think we can see what is going on here. He's cherry picking the artifacts that seem to meet his definition of being highly precision, so I can say, hey, this looks really neat. This must have been made with modern style equipment, rather than understanding some artisans were really skilled and would be more precise. Not to mention the demands and who was commissioning a piece might actually determine how nice a piece actually is. So basically, the vases I don't like were made by hands. The vases I adore were made by machines the Egyptians didn't have. Well, that is convincing. I'm going to apologize, everyone. I am falling asleep right now because I have had a long day, and I'm not sure how much more of this I can take. I've covered this guy before. He just thinks the Egyptians had computers, and that's what he's trying to go to here. But I don't feel like sitting through the rest of this video, so I'm going to cut it short here. Have a good night, everyone. Go out and write some code.